Testing, everyone. It's Sunday, and it is very hot, but I am doing this live stream today because I want to share with you the progress I've made thus far. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Forty of you watching me, trying to figure out the comments. If you guys can make a comment, there you go. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Loud and clear. Perfect. I'm going to get in front of the camera shortly. My wife is going to be recording. She is going to be taking your questions and read them off to me, okay? Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with me today. I appreciate you guys obviously supporting my madness, my channel, and what's coming ahead is going to blow your mind. I promise you, you are not ready for what's coming, folks. A lot of great things are going to be coming out of my future 2 sound rooms. And today, I want to dedicate today to you guys. Any questions you guys may have, anything that you guys may want to ask me related to my system, perhaps my experience with certain things. Today is an opportunity for you guys to ask anything. All right? Don't forget to see my website, jaysaudiolab.com, because a lot of these things are going to be sold. So you see a lot of this. A lot of these things are getting removed and put in boxes, and the apexes will be put away tomorrow. I need, unfortunately, 4 people to come out tomorrow, which I have already hired to help me pack up the Apex monoblocks. These gigantic amplifiers need 4 individuals, in my opinion, and I refuse to be doing the legwork now because, quite frankly, I'm getting too old to be doing this kind of work. So do me a favor, hit that like button. If you have any questions, bring them up. My wife is going to read them to me, okay, and then I'll answer one by one. So I'm trying to have a very nice conversation with you all, okay? So let me see if there's any questions you guys may have at this time. Okay. Don't strain your back. Okay, fine. I see a comment. Any other comment? I will try to protect my back end of lab sale and all used gear. All right, so front and center. Okay, so you are seeing right now my Martin Mingus orchestra. The last one is packed up and ready to go. My TADs are already in boxes. WADX is already in a box, excuse me. And all of the power conditioning is already put away along with the Griffin Commander. So what I have left are the Mingus, this one right here, and everything that you see here for my home theater on this side. So if you can bring the camera around so people can see what I'm talking about.
Sorry.
All right.
We got some questions coming in already, so I'm getting prepared here.
Okay, so if you have any questions, my wife is going to read the questions to me. You're hitting that like button, I hope. You're subscribing to the channel, I hope. I am trying to do something different, and I want to start this off by saying that I would not be able to move where I am headed next without your support, without you being there by my side. I meet a lot of you at shows, special events, and I make a huge effort to give you all my time, to engage with your family members, to engage with your kids, to engage with your spouse, husband or wives. You guys know me. Those of you that have seen me and talked to me in person, you know the real Jay. There is a Jay that and we got to tickle of the algorithm, okay? That's what we got to do as YouTubers, okay? So don't set. Sometimes I have to say something or do something controversial. It's simply trying to engage all of you, okay? But if you really want to know the real me, you could do it 2 ways. 1, get out to a show, talk to me in person. I will definitely answer your questions, and I can assure you, I also engage with your loved ones, okay? So they're not just standing off to the side looking like a statue. I like to engage them as well, especially your kids. And another way of meeting me is through my consultation service. If you have any interest in my consultation, okay? These truth about whatever it is that you're asking me. It doesn't matter what it is. That's the only space in which I can tell you everything without any censorship. Okay? So, any questions so far?
So yeah, the first question is, are you coming to Texas?
I'm not in position to disclose anything yet. There are some things that I'm finalizing. Once this is finalized, I will be in position to tell you where I'm going. Hold out. I need another week before I'm able to disclose where I am headed to next. But do know that where I'm headed to next will provide me the space that I need and everything else that I have always wanted. Many of you have been critical of the tightness of my room and how things are so packed. There's no space to walk. I agree. This is why I needed to create Jay's Audio Lab 2.0, in which I'll have two different listening rooms next to each other. Size will be approximately 25 wide by 16 deep, more or less the golden ratio, right? So I'll have two of those sound rooms. Imagine that, 25 by 15, two of those next to each other. So it's gonna be a really, really killer future for me, and of course for all of you. Hopefully you guys are following me at that point and continue to support me.
Next question is, are you moving to a new state?
Yes, we are moving to a new state. That much I can tell you. I have been in Florida the majority of my life, but I have also lived in Kentucky and I've also lived in Kansas during my time in the military. So I am pretty well, I'm pretty aware of, what it feels like to live elsewhere. But my family is the first time they're going to go away to a different state and obviously get a feel for what it is like to roll out of bed in a different state with different people. And by the way, I love people from different states because I think all of you are special in some kind of way.
You said you will have two listening rooms. Any particular concept yet? On how they will be used?
So that's a good question. Thank you for that. One of the ways in which the rooms will be used is obviously I'll have my cost no object room, right? And next to it, I have to decide if what I need is essentially perhaps something more affordable, something where I can actually level with a lot of you who watch me, because I know a lot of you follow me, but unfortunately, some of the stuff that I'll talk about are not within reach. So I'm thinking maybe that second lab should be for more down to earth components, if that makes sense. Or if maybe that second lab is simply my real lab and the first one is my listening room, right? One could be just for pure trials, kind of like what this was, right? Where I had a lot of different pieces of equipment to really insert, pull in and out, and then have one that's my reference system completely untouched. I haven't decided, to be honest with you. The only thing I can tell you is it will be two sound rooms of the with the golden ratio of 25 by 15. That much I can tell you, and the ceilings will be 10 foot tall.
Why did you change the projector from the RS4200 to the Sony GTZ380?
All right, so I know some of you are not here for home theater, but I have to answer this individual, this follower of mine who happens to ask something about this incredible, this beast right here, okay? This is a Sony GTZ380. I know some of you don't have any clue what that is. Let's just say the GTZ380 Sony projector is a Griffin Apex. That is the level of video that is. Once you watch TV on a Sony GTZ380, you're never going back to a regular television. It's impossible. Why? Because this is really the end of the road. This is the best projector that Sony has ever built, ever, in the history of the company. There is no better projector than the GTZ 380, okay? Made in Japan, weighs over 100 pounds. The lens alone, just the lens on that projector is $12,000. Lens, just that. Once you watch TV on this, there's no going back. And this is why it's headed with me to my new home. And eventually I'll do perhaps a video series of my future home theater, which will also be featured on my channel at some point. So my first priority is to make sure I get the two sound rooms ready to go. And then next year I'll start to work on my home theater situation, and that projector will be part of it.
Next question is, new videos in the new sound rooms in September, October, potentially?
So for this particular part, look, if everything goes well, as I said to you, I plan to start leaving this home first week in September, okay? And I will say that I need to still get with some contractors. I need to talk to people that do electricity. I want to do the right grounding system, like those huge rods that go into the earth. I want to do something really well put together for the sound. I want to get together with people that, even lighting, I mean, lighting specialists. I want to really do something magnificent. So I want to document everything. And hopefully we start in September to document. I will do my best so you see what it's, what the process feels like. And I'll be honest, I'll probably share a lot of the cost associated with this so you have an understanding of what it costs to build something of that caliber, okay? And we'll do probably video series over time. And I want to do also maybe at some point like room measurements, REW. I want to do that as well. And maybe even include some industry experts about this, fly them in there and let them measure the room. Acoustic treatments will also be part of the whole conversation. So we'll see before and after measurements. I want to do as much content as I can along the way. But I'll tell you this, I really doubt that I will be done with all of this before Christmas. I expect this to take me the rest of the year, probably 3.5 to 4 months before I'm at a good place to actually start doing content within the lab. You'll see the builds, but to call it, here's open doors, come on in, probably not until December or first week of the year, 2026.
So you already addressed how much bigger the rooms will be. That was the next question. However, he's asking how tall are the ceilings, which you
10 foot tall. That's what I'm aiming for. Okay. I think once you get to 12, in my opinion, it's a little too high. I think 10 is the sweet spot in terms of height.
Somebody says, Jay's wife is like, this hobby's getting out of control, 2 listening rooms.
Yeah, so my wife has been the #1 supporter of this ever since she saw that I had a gift.
Yes, I have.
When she saw that I was gifted at this and she understood that I could make something out of nothing, because really I came out of nothing. I came out of pure actually, home theater stuff, Polk audio speakers, which are great. But I came out of small things that unfortunately would never be able to feed my family. And so as I escalated, we both saw an opportunity. And so now, of course, she knows this is part of the business. So she doesn't bother me at all with all the madness. I mean, imagine having all of these guys in the middle of the room. I mean, in your living room. No wife would put up with this. And I don't blame the wives for not putting up with this, because this is a disaster. And I think if you can do it, and I made this last video, guys, that video that I put out, I told you guys, it's worth it. It's worth it. If you have a 2-car garage, hire some local contractor, put in 20 grand, $20 to $25,000, and you have a room, a dedicated room. I promise you, you're not going to ever regret doing that. You're probably going to spend more time in that room than in your own home. I'm telling you right now, it is the best decision that I could have ever made, and I thank my wife for pushing me to do that.
Thank you, honey. So somebody said, Texas.
Can't say anything.
We don't know. We can't tell you yet. It's a surprise. Attending Capital Audio Festival in November. Would love to meet you. Will be in my scooter.
Yeah, and if all goes well, we plan to be there at Capital Audio Fest, assuming we don't have anything pressing that I need to be home, point in which I need to be part of the build and my contractors are there. You know that anytime you hire a contractor to do anything in your home, you have to be chasing them to make sure they show up right. You got to be inspecting. You got to make sure things are going, they're moving along. And so that's the only thing that concerns me. But I don't think there is a reason why I wouldn't attend Capital Audio Fest. I enjoy meeting a lot of you in Washington. I think it's really, really a nice show. And it's a it makes me feel, it's a very intimate show. I can say that about Capital Audio Fest.
Perfect. So why pick between the two? Get 3 listening rooms so you can do it all.
So the reason why is because the actual space is approximately 60 foot by 18, and the ceilings are about 22 foot high, right? So I'm going to build, when I get done building the room and separating things, I think that the golden rule calls for 25 by 15 by 10. And so I want to stay within that form factor, because I don't want to have a huge room and for the system to just simply not sound great. So I got to follow some sort of rules, if you will. And then I'm still going to have an extra space to perhaps put some used gear in, some components that I'm not using. So I'll still have like another room that will be like 11 by 16, something like that. And that'll be like a spare section for components that I won't be using that I need to sell, inventory, if you will, right? Things of that nature. So that's the reason why.
Okay, 1 second. Good luck in your new home.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to sharing your awesome new adventure with you. Thanks for all you do. Looking forward to seeing the progress.
Awesome.
Hey Jay, right now I own a Griffin-based system,
Okay.
all Banta cables,
Okay.
Diablo 333,
Okay.
Power Zone, Inuus, Pulsar Streamer, and Vocal Scala Evos. Do you think it will be smart to change to EOS 5 speakers?
I think if you change to the Griffin speakers, what you might gain is system synergy. Remember, those speakers are made for Griffin Electronics. That's how they voice them. But I can tell you this, your Focals are a lot of speaker. I've had them in here, they're phenomenal speakers. I hope that you have bought the ISO acoustics for them because they make a drastic improvement. Any loudspeaker, not just Focal. If you were to ask me, should you get out there and listen to them first? Because remember, once you marry the Griffin sound, it's intoxicating, but you're also tied to their ecosystem. Your flexibility is diminished. If, let's say, for whatever reason, one day you say, okay, I want to part ways, I want to try something different than Griffin, what happens is now you have Griffin speakers. You can't just sell your electronics and buy CA Precision for your Griffin speakers or buy Solution. I'm not saying you cannot, but it's probably not the right thing to do. So you got to think about it like that. When you go all Griffin, hopefully you're just thinking about continuing with Griffin for a very long time. There's nothing wrong with it. I love the brand. I've always said that I love this is the reason why the Apex has continued to be my reference amplifier. But I would say get out and listen to the speakers at a dealer somewhere before you make that jump.
Okay, in audio, the path is often as exciting as the results. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Oh man, my pleasure, man. Remember, I said it a million times. I cannot do this without you all. Couldn't do it.
Is your wife happy with the change and future plans for Jay's Lab 2.0?
You can answer that.
Yes, very excited. I am actually the first one to be pushing to move. The sooner the better.
Okay, so there you go. Now you know one reason why I'm rushing.
If it was up to me, we would already moved.
Yep.
I do like the Triad for the theaters. We do. In the in-wall Triad Gold LCRs and the Gold Omnis for the Atmos channels sound awesome.
Yep, they do.
And I love that they will something the grills. Sorry, I don't know what that word is. Painted with any paint color code made.
Yep, you can. How many people do we have?
Right now we have 122 people and only 50 likes, so that ratio is a little off. We gotta hit that like button.
Okay.
Is the Martin in that flight case?
Yes, the Martin is in this flight case, correct. Yep.
Greetings from Germany. Any coupled electricity from the listening room?
I don't really have any thoughts about that. I've heard a lot about that particular electrical layout, but I could tell you this, I plan to do something really unique when it comes to my electrical system for the rooms. I just need to partner with some people that are in the industry that do this for a living. I want to get some ideas. I want them to present to me reasons as to why I should go with this or that, and obviously the cost associated with it. To be frank with you guys, and again, it's part of me being candid with you all, the biggest advantage that I have when it comes to this is when I build those rooms, I would have, for example, a lot of help from manufacturers. And if you're asking me, how is that? For instance, let's say I end up with brand X for acoustic treatments. They essentially would be sponsoring my room. They essentially would exist in my room. They essentially would be getting free marketing, right? So they clearly would do anything in their power to accommodate me and obviously give me good pricing. That's just what comes with it. That's just how it is, right? So I do have those extra tools at my disposal, those extra hands to help me build something special, which unfortunately I know many of you don't have. But again, I guess that's a plus. That's the plus of having your YouTube channel.
This was a controversial one.
Okay.
Magico versus Boris, two completely different worlds.
Oof, yeah.
Which one would you prefer? I would love to hear your comments.
Magico versus Boris.
Can't even do that. That's two
that
different
is
worlds.
that is interesting, man. People are asking me Magico versus Borison. I've had about 8 Magico Borisons in here. Potentially a third one. I can't speak more about that, but I'm sure you're going to see a Borison speaker in the new lab at some point. That's for sure. It's inevitable. I've been, obviously marketing the brand with Next Level Hi-Fi for many, many years. And so, I can see a Borison speaker in this new, one of these 2 new labs. More than likely you'll see one. Now, my opinion, this is a tough one, okay? Because, I like the guys at, Audio Group from Audio Group Denmark, Mike Borison, Michael Borison and Lars, and I like they're great people. And also Lone Wolf, I email him all the time. We keep in touch. And so, it's hard. I can't really say which is the better speaker. I think it's about preferences, but I can speak at a high level what I think. Magico is a very uncolored loudspeaker. It's very revealing. It's going to ask the best that you can afford to really give you the performance that the speaker is capable of. Think of it as a Porsche. All right, you get to that level, it's going to ask the best tires you can put on the car to really, really show you what it's capable of, right? It's the same thing. It's a very detailed speaker. It's a very clear speaker, right? It's got everything you can possibly think of. However, again, you really need to make sure you set that speaker up with the right components. It really needs it. Now, when it comes to Borison, I can tell you when it comes to stereo imaging, they probably are the champs. I think Borison and Wilson are the best stereo imaging speakers that I have ever heard, meaning that they have this beautiful euphoric sound, like if you're wearing headphones kind of feeling. That's one thing I love about Borison. When you sit in front of a Borison speaker, assuming that it's set up properly, because you do need to set up the speaker, not just the Borison, any speaker, but more so the Borison, you got to spend the time to make sure you set them up properly. And if you get their matching electronics, it's even that much better. And I can tell you that what always has been really special about a Borison speaker, for me anyway, has been that when I sit in front of the Borison speaker, even if I'm a little bit off to the right or off to the left on that couch, I get a very nice stereo imaging. It feels like I'm still locked in. I'm still in the sweet spot. And in the case, let's say, of the M2s, when I went to Expona, and I remember we were showcasing the brand new subs from Borison, I remember that the sound was like, it was like a bubble effect. I was inside the music. It was stunning. I mean, they do some magical things, Borison speakers. I just strongly suggest that if you're going with Borison, at some point throughout your journey, you try to at least play with a couple of the ANZUS cables and AVIC electronics. I think it'll be worth it.
Yeah, I think it entirely depends on the room you have too.
Yes.
That makes a big difference. Looking forward to the future with your channel.
Thank you.
Do you think a different placement of the gears so there is nothing between the speakers?
Yes, so if I have the time, the space, part of that would be for me to no longer put the components between the speakers, but perhaps off to the right or off to the left and have nothing in between. Maybe the amplifiers, something really low to the ground, but I'm trying to see how that even works. Ideally, that's what I want to do. So the layout has to be, carefully thought out. But yes, that has been a thought that I have been thinking about throughout the last 2 months.
Jay, you're amazing. You read my mind. I am in Poland and I'm having the same problem as you. I also have 2 rooms, one for stereo, the other for cinema, and I'm still developing. Best regards.
Awesome. Thank you for watching me from Poland.
What are you not finding in Florida that you think you will find in your new home? So many things. I can answer that one.
Go ahead and answer those questions. You can answer those questions.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
It's your channel, not mine.
No, you answer it. Well, what am I thinking? Well, look, first of all, the cost of living in Florida is outrageous. It's getting more expensive every day. You don't really buy a big home for a lot of money in Florida. Okay, that's not a thing in Florida. And that's not to say that there aren't beautiful homes in Florida. Yes, we do have beautiful homes in here, but because of how much they are and obviously how far my dollars can stretch, I made the decision to move out of Florida, in the next 3 weeks because I'm going to get, number one, a lot more for my money. I've also selected a state where I think the cost of living is a lot less than Florida. I already checked car insurance, and both of my cars are going to be approximately $300 less in this new state. So just right there, I'm saving. Also, my homeowner's insurance is cheaper in that new state, yet that's a bigger home than this one. That home is about 2.5 times the size of this home that
I'd dare to say it's even bigger than that. That house is way bigger than this one, and the home insurance is considerably less.
Yes. So there is those right things. I want my dollars to stretch a bit more, and so that's really what factor in my decision. Now, if I was a millionaire, listen, and I could afford a bigger home in Florida, like the one I'm about to buy or we're in the process of buying, I would have no problem staying in Florida, but it's just not realistic. Well, my wife wants to be out of Florida. I mean, I think what it is my wife she's ready for a change. She's ready for, she wants to get out of bed and see new people, new streets, new city, new restaurants, right? She wants to see deer as well, right? So there are many things that she's looking for, and she's already saturated by Florida lifestyle, and I think she just wants to see something different.
Don't get me wrong, Florida lifestyle is amazing, but Florida lifestyle is for either really young professionals, which we already lived that stage of our lives. When you are in your 20s, you're working a corporate job and it's amazing, and you go to happy hour every day. But our stage of life is we have a family now, we have our daughter, we want calm, we want nice neighbors that are super polite. Oh my God, the people up north are so nice and friendly. It was a little scary for me at first because I didn't know how to take it because we're not used to that down here in Florida. But people are just so nice up north. It's amazing. It makes you feel so welcome.
Yeah, it's different in Florida. When you pull up at Starbucks here in Florida and it's 6:36 in the morning, I mean, you pull up and you say hello, and their answer is hello?
Which one would you like?
What do you want? No, we don't have that. Yeah, I hear you. Hello.
Hurry up, because the next one.
That's kind of how they treat you, right? I mean, I'm exaggerating somewhat, but that's more or less the feel you get in Florida. It's a different mindset. It's all state where people come and retire. No one comes to Florida to sit on their chair, fart in their chair, listening to music. That's not the reason why you move to Florida. Florida is to come out and go to the beach, go dining, go, near the water, boat shows. Hey, if you're into surgeries and you got the money, you get those done here. I mean, that's Florida is about, but it's not about listening to system. Guys, let me tell you something. I have been through a lot of sound systems, okay? And I can tell you with one hand, I can count how many people here have systems that come close to what I have here. With one hand. And there's a lot of money. It's not because people don't have the money. It's just there's no interest in it. There is no interest in any of this. They're fine with a sound bar and 5 little tiny speakers and a nice TV. That's enough for them. That's sufficient. And after that, I watch the movie on my way. I'm heading out. I'm going out to the beach. I'm going out to eat somewhere. That's the thing about Florida. It's very different. The mindset is not the same. And I don't think it's what it is, right? So this is the reason why we're not selling the house. We're going to lease. We're going to rent the house because in 20 years, number one, we think this is going to be far more money than what it is today. So it is clearly a great investment.
It's a great area.
Yeah, it's a great area here too. And you never know. Maybe where we're headed in 20 years, we're ready to move back. I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe it doesn't happen. So it's a great place to buy property. The problem is with Florida, it's getting outrageously expensive. So this new state seems to be much better in all sorts of ways for us and my family.
Okay, next is looking forward to seeing the progress in your 2 new rooms. Jay, are you going to listen? Are you going to listen to while the big gear is? What are you going to listen to while the big gear is packed up? Do you have a headphone ring?
Oh my God! So that's interesting. So this is why I'm also delaying a little bit the process because I want to take my time. packing everything up so I can still live around all of these electronics. But I was actually feeling a little sad because, to be honest with you, last night I was telling my wife I want to leave the home theater on so that I can watch a movie, right? Last night.
Yeah.
And it turned out I knocked out because I was tired from packing all this stuff. So now today is the day in which I pack up my home theater stuff. And I realized that after today, I won't have any business in this room other than to basically wrap things up in here and put everything in boxes. I never realized, to be honest with you, this is a good question. I never realized how much I enjoy this room because now it's basically no longer existent, right? I can't really do anything in here other than work. And so I feel now when I sit inside the living room with my family, like I don't have a space that I can call my own, like a toy store or a place where my toys are, where I can come in and distract myself. So it feels a little sad inside of me because I no longer have this space and also the opportunity to share with you something cool. So this is the reason why I will say that I could not continue to live in any future home without a dedicated space for myself because I guess it's for my own sanity.
It's your man cave.
And to leave my wife alone so I can be doing things when she wants me away, then obviously I come and retreat and stay in the room and she can, do whatever else she wants to do inside the house.
Yeah, aren't you glad I pushed you to make this room?
Yes, you did.
I don't think we would have survived you being in the living room this long. I would have killed you already.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would have woken everybody up. Yeah, it's true.
So apparently there's a thread on AudioGround about your move.
Yeah.
Crazy how many haters were whining about and jealous of how you run your business and the ability to work with big brands directly. I was defending you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I actually was shown that thread by someone. There is a lot of support by a lot of you because a lot of you saw me essentially from ground zero, from the moment I was born. And I started on a thread typing about my experience with different power amplifiers. And so I can say this to you guys, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And no, of course, not everyone has to like me. And I respect that. It's okay. Look, I'm a family man. I served in the military. I'm running a business. I've been hustling. I could have easily stayed inside that forum typing more and more and more and more and still working for someone else, right? Grinding 40, 50, 60 hours a week to make someone else rich. And so one day I took the leap of faith of basically my entire efforts to YouTube. And the rest is history. The only regret I have is that I didn't do it sooner. Yeah. I should have done it years prior. I would have been probably at 100,000 subscribers by now. Yeah. And it's not that YouTube pays my bills. I have said it a million times. YouTube does not pay my bills. I average about $800 a month. There, full transparency. I average about $800 a month on YouTube. That's it. That probably pays my gas and the electric bill in this house. That's it. It's not going to change my life, YouTube. What YouTube does is it gives me a platform to speak on, right? I actually have leverage to drive conversations for manufacturers to actually acknowledge me. It opens up a lot of other doors for me. Yes, it does help me in other regards, but there's no real paydays from YouTube. The only paydays that you can actually generate for yourself are those from side hustles, business ventures, from selling shirts, from selling something, depending on what industry you're in. So everyone on that thread that you're mentioning, of course, is going to have their own opinion, and they may feel that I'm this way or that way. But I always say, unless you've spoken to me in person, you know how I am. You talk to me, I address you, your kids, your family, anybody that's with you. I never leave anybody out. Okay, I just know better. And so I think those that have met me can speak on this, can speak on the fact that I'm not that way. It's just that on YouTube, you have to have a persona. You have to have a different personality to drive conversations. That's the truth, right? You have to. And so I don't get bothered anymore about what's said about me on forums. If anything, I got to be real. It's great marketing. That means people are watching me. And last but not least, remember, those that say, I don't really watch the guy, but I think he's this, and that. It makes me wonder, you have an opinion about me, but you don't watch me. That's what you claim. So how do you have an opinion about me if you claim to not watch my videos at all? It's confusing, right? It's contradicting. That's all I got to say.
What about Borison versus Von Stryker?
Ooh, wow. Borison versus Von Stryker. You guys are drilling me today,
Yeah.
man. Borison and Von Stryker. Well, I already spoke about Borison, and how much I like the brand. And now, of course, Von Stryker. It's a brand that I now live with, right? I had the Ultra 7s here for like 4 months, I think it was. And we had a fantastic time with Damon and Gary. Class act individuals, really, really top-notch people in the industry. I could never say anything bad about them. I have nothing but great things to say about both of them, and I think my wife could speak on that as well. We both had a great time, and these guys, to me, build a quality product. The problem with Von Stryker, and I don't want to call it a problem, it's just the fact that, remember, there was a transition, right? From the father, the former CEO, founder of the company. When he dies, there are some changes that are occurring, right? Like it happens with any company. And Von Stryker didn't have any solid footing when it comes to social media. When it comes to marketing, they were loose. They were essentially stepping, on loose ground. They really didn't know how to generate more views on their products, right? So they were trying to figure out a strategy that put them in front of people's faces. And so when I called them the best speaker I heard 3 years ago in Munich, I had no intention of ever bringing them in here, ever. And all of a sudden, stars aligned. I brought him, and it was one of the best experiences that I've ever had with a loudspeaker here. Now, sonically, I said it. It's a Magico, in my opinion, with a Sonos Faber. It's resolving. It's a very pretty sound. It doesn't take you all the way to the most resolving type of presentation like a TAD would, and that's done on purpose. That's to keep the speaker sounding very engaging and forgiving while still telling you the truth. You see what I'm saying? And so I can appreciate a speaker like the Von Stryker. Also, the rear firing drivers, right? When you start adding that extra airiness on the top end, when you start adding more depth to the presentation, when you add more bass, if that's what you want in the case of the Ultra 7 with active section, to me, it's hard to beat a speaker that you can adjust on the fly because no room is the same. Remember that. You may have a room that has an open side to the room because the kitchen is right there, right? And now you have sound waves that are escaping in that direction. This speaker on the other side has a wall right next to it, and that's not occurring on the left side. So you need to figure out a way to even them out. I think having a speaker that allows you to have those flexibility, those key points is instrumental. And I like that flexibility about the Ultra 7, okay? It's not speaker for everyone. I know you guys may say, aesthetically, maybe you don't care for it, or, there are many reasons why you could say it's not the speaker for you. But I can tell you, in my experience, if you hear it, it's hard to find anything negative about the Von Stryker. It's hard, especially with the adjustments that you have on that speaker. You can make it your own. Remember that. How many people do we have?
149 and 107 likes.
Beautiful, guys. Thank you for hitting that like button. Next question.
What are your thoughts on the Aora VRC flagship speakers and any plans to bring them into the lab?
Aora VRC. So Valerio is one of the most intelligent men in the industry that I've ever spoken to. This guy is an encyclopedia of knowledge, man. This guy is a really sharp individual. I had long conversations with Valerio at Capital Audio Fest all the way until like 3 in the morning. I remember one time with his wife was in the room. He is, I've seen the evolution of Aora acoustics. I remember when I first ran into them, I think it was at the Tampa show maybe, and I really didn't know anything about them. I got to listen to them, and I started to connect with Valerio. We started having conversations about the brand, his intent, and he's been paying his dues like for a long time. Like this, listen, I hate to be honest here, but everyone unfortunately has to pay their dues in the beginning. Anytime you're starting any business and you're going up against those that have been doing it longer than you, unfortunately, you are going to be overlooked at shows. It happens. And I think Valerio kept working and grinding. And eventually, I think he got all the attention that he deserved. I think he makes a fine product. I think the VRC is a fantastic. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you about the VRC. I remember, I think it was, I want to say the Tampa show. Yes, I stayed in that room with Greg Weaver. I think Michael Fremer was there as well, and Greg Weaver was doing one of his turntable listening sessions with these crazy albums that no one has ever heard. And Michael Fremer also brought this record that was special. I can't remember what it was, right? But it was something like the only copy in the world. Man, those VRCs filled the whole room and it sounded like a live venue. It was one of the most impressive days of my life. Those VRC speakers really are fantastic. I mean, I've heard him sound impressive at a lot of shows. In the beginning stages, I think Valerio was given the wrong rooms. He was struggling because he didn't have the right sound. And this is a guy that's relentless. Valerio will go to great lengths to get the right gear, the right components, to make his systems sound fantastic. Well, once he got the formula, I remember approaching him and telling him, Valerio, this VRC setup that you have here, you got to repeat this the rest of the year. You got to bring it to Dallas. You got to bring it to Expona. You got to keep going with this. This is the best system I've heard. You got to repeat it. And I remember telling him that, okay? So I love his VRC product. It's a fantastic speaker. If you are thinking about it, I would tell you, get out there. You're not going to regret it. It's, again, system matching is key. I urge you to pay attention to the electronics that he uses, the cabling that he uses, because you may want to replicate his efforts. Why change the recipe? It works fantastic. I would say if you're looking at VRCs, get out to a show and pay attention to his sources, pay attention to all of that, and buy the same. And I'm telling you, you will not look back.
Okay. Do subwoofers improve the sound for all the speakers you've tried? Wilson, Magico, Sonos, Faber, TAD, etc. Or is a subwoofer more of a home theater edition?
No, subwoofers are a thing in 2-channel as well. First of all, the mid-range gets a lot more complete. There is a lot more completeness to the mid-range when you add subs. And mind you, I don't mean just subs as in like these right here that you see here. I don't mean just grab the subs and throw them into the room. Right, these. Now, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having someone qualified with experience that knows how to blend the subs with the main speakers. Okay, that's an art. I thought I knew. Hell no. I'm telling you, when Damon came out and did the blend of those Shockwave subs with the Ultra 7s, he spent a lot of time. And when he got done, I could not locate the subs anywhere in the room. That's when you know you have successfully implemented and essentially blended the frequencies of the subs with the main speakers. You should not be able to hear basically a disconnect between both. So if you're thinking about doing it, I encourage you to do so, especially rooms that have difficulties when it comes to the bass, because remember, when you have a speaker, right, and if it's a passive speaker, not like an Ultra 7 Von Stryker that has an active section, but if it is a passive speaker, wherever you put the speakers, if you find yourself with difficulties when it comes to the low registers, you gotta implement subs. That's the only way you can correct these issues. Unless you get another speaker that has an active section, then you have something to play with. But for the most part, a sub is going to help not only down low, but also the mid-range. It's gonna sound a lot more complete, fuller, if that makes sense.
Okay. That would be Sarasota, Florida. I moved from New Jersey 2.5 years ago.
Awesome.
And Lakewood Ranch is fantastic.
Cool, cool.
Someone else, Kevin says, come to Cincinnati, Jay. Low cost of living and very family-friendly environment.
Okay.
Jay, I usually listen to my WAV music. Is that how you say it?
Which,
WAV or
which?
WAV? WAV music
Okay.
library
Okay.
on the hard drive in my Arender streamer. It sounds way better than streaming Cobas. Have you ever tested this?
Yes, some say that local files sound better than streaming, and that's because these files are, I guess you can call them sanitized already. They're not in the network. They're not being delivered from the servers of Tidal or Cobas. They exist So they're complete files. I have heard, especially through the MSB Select 2, the biggest improvement anytime I played local files over streaming files, streaming music. The Select 2 from MSB was the one DAC that really showed me the biggest difference between local and remote files.
Jay, we met in Munich. I'm really happy to see you succeed in this after all your hard work and effort. I also enjoy buying and selling things uh, just for myself now.
Awesome, awesome, good. A lot of work.
It's great that you brought up the topic of the glitch effect.
Okay.
Have you ever listened to Grim MU2?
I've heard Grim, but not in my possession, so I'm not really qualified to speak at length about it.
Okay. Subwoofers are used to fix the room's bass response. Will we see any windows in your new room?
So that's a good question, Windows, and I really don't know because some people are usually frowning upon having a reflective surface, a window, if you will. Some say it's bad for sound reproduction, believe it or not. I don't really know. I need to talk to experts, room experts, as far as what their take is. I'd say I'd like to have a window, definitely. That's not something I'm really against. But to say that will be part of the room is tough to say because I am primarily looking for the best performance in my room. And if they say a window is only an aesthetic thing, but it doesn't help sound-wise, if anything, it can create issues, then unfortunately, I'm not going to have a window.
Best of luck on your move. I enjoy your videos.
Thank you.
Will you be selling any turntables or other analog gear? Also, I was wondering what you think of Xyloton speakers.
Okay, so will I be selling? Yeah, absolutely. This right here, this is for sale. This is gonna get packed, okay? This turntable, complete. The whole entire Kronos limited, okay, with the DS audio cartridge, that's gonna be for sale along with this Labs Phono Stage, okay? This whole thing will be for sale for a good deal. It's ready to go, really. It has everything you need, okay? So this turntable is for sale. As a matter of fact, I'd be willing to give someone that's really serious about it a good deal because I can, to be honest with you, I could use the money for my move. So I would be inclined to cutting somebody a good deal on the entire turntable setup there. You don't have to buy anything else. All you need are a couple of cables to connect it to your preamplifier and you're done. As far as Xyloton speakers, Xyloton is one of those brands that I think has existed, actually, no, fact, actually, it has existed here in the US for some time. It was a little bit like Von Stryker in the sense that it never had a lot of marketing behind it. Great product, great engineer, great group of people, but it just was never on a solid ground when it comes to marketing. I see a lot more efforts nowadays with the brand. I wish they went out to shows a lot more often than they have in the past. I think it's a mistake on their part. But if I talk about the brand itself, what I've heard, I will tell you that that's one fine built audio product. That's a fine loudspeaker. Tremendous engineering, incredible resolution, transparency. When I heard the Xylotons, I think they were the plural Evos with a Solution 711, a 725 preamplifier, and I cannot remember the turntable that they used. I'm telling you right now, that was one of the most insane rooms I ever heard.
That's the one I liked.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes. It was fast. It was completely transparent. I mean, focused. It just really hard to find something that you couldn't like about that speaker. That room also had no treatments anywhere.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. I mean, it's a fine product. I mean, Xyloton is one of the best loudspeakers I've ever heard. And you know what? Maybe at some point you might see a Xyloton in the new labs. I mean, I think it's inevitable. I think it could be next year at some point you'll see a Xyloton. I just don't think that there is a reason why Xyloton should not be in my room. I think it has to be in my room at some point. It's just sometimes the timing.
I think that was one of my favorite rooms at that show. I can't remember if that was
That was Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas. That was Dallas.
I was very, very impressed by that room. I mean, among others, but that room was very, very impressive to me. It was one of my favorites. Okay, your ability to bring the ultra high end to audiophiles like me that can't afford the ultra high, it's extremely powerful and useful. I bought a pair of Martin Parker trios recently thanks to you.
Wow. Well, please send Martin an email. Let Martin know that you bought the Martins because of me. These are the things that I think are important. All of you who buy things because of me, you need to make sure you let those manufacturers know exactly that. Let them know I saw Jay's Audio Lab factory tour. I saw Jay's Audio Lab, speaker on YouTube. I heard him with this combination, and that's what pushed me over the edge to buy the speakers or the amp or preamp. You need to voice this, because you know what what happens is when they hear these things, manufacturers eventually want to essentially say, hey, we got a new integrated, we got this, we got that, we would love for you to have it and give an opinion. And I always tell manufacturers very clearly, look, if a product isn't up to my expectations, I'm not gonna even put it on the channel or ever make a video about it. For two reasons, and let me explain to you. One, it doesn't help anybody. Two, I don't wanna really be trashing a brand when there is no need for that. If I find something special, I want you guys to hear it. I want you guys to really be in front of it. This is the reason why I love the 331 integrated from Solution. The reason why I love the TADs. You've heard them with Solution. It's a shocking combination, a really good one in my opinion, right? So part of the reason why the two labs will be great is because maybe, as I said to you earlier, I'll have my cost no object section, and then I'll have more entry-level things from high-end brands. I can actually drive conversations with these manufacturers and tell them, hey, I see an opportunity here for a great stand mount speaker around 15 to 20K. You should really think about it. And believe it or not, a lot of these brands hear me. They hear me. If they can do it, they'll do it, because this feedback that I'm giving them, I always tell them, you can get people to enter the brand by selling them something affordable. For example, Boris, right? They have the Axis Forte, the affordable entry lines. This is a way to get you into the Boris until you move your way all the way to the top. I think Magico did that with Magico A1s, A3s, and A5s. It's a great opportunity for people to enter the Magico house. Great opportunity for Wilson with the Tune Tots. There are many other brands that sometimes fear building products that are more affordable because they feel like it's going to hurt their pedigree, their reputation. I think this is a mistake. I think this way of thinking should completely go away. And so I want to drive these conversations with them. I want to show you also great performance for not a lot of money in comparison to my ultra high end. To your point, the person who made that comment, I understand that not everyone can afford the crazy stuff I display. But if I can find gold nuggets, little tiny things that I can come out and tell you, listen, this combo here is killer. I'll give you an example of a combo that blew my mind for maybe about a year ago in this room. It was a Sasha DAW, okay, which you can buy on the used market for 18 grand now, $17,000 used. A Boulder 866 integrated, okay? You can find that for about 9 grand, 10 grand, okay? It's built-in DAC. I was using my cable line authentic audio image, and I had it on, I have the integrated on top of an Artisania audio stand. Listen, that was one of the most shocking combos I've ever heard in here. Incredible. I told my ultra hi-fi group, I said, man, if I had to retire, this could potentially be the system I retire with. These are combinations that I sometimes accidentally find, and these are the types of combos that I want to be able to show you perhaps in the lab. So you can come and hear something magical and be like, I know that your cost no object system is amazing, Jay, but I can live with this here for a third of the price, a fifth of the price. That's kind of the intent of my new business.
Any plans to audition the Wimberg, Tondas, or the Estalon Extremes?
Plan at this time. That's not to say that things may not change in the future. As I continue to generate more videos and show different brands, other brands begin to follow along and contact me. So the same way that you've seen One Strikers, you've seen Griffin in here, you've seen CH Precision in here, Solution as of late, other brands eventually follow. So it's just a matter of time. Sometimes it's just conversations that we haven't had. That's got nothing to do with the brand, nothing to do with any sort of beef or drama between us. Sometimes it's the timing. The meeting of the minds has not occurred. But I would not be shocked if you see either one of those brands here in the lab in the future.
Okay, what are your thoughts on omnidirectional sound from resonating membrane?
Omnidirectional sound, to me, it's like a different type of sound. It's like saying you have been a tequila drinker and now you're put in front of whiskey. It's an acquired taste. It's hard. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a different type of sound. The biggest thing about omnidirectional is, of course, the feeling that it surrounds you, right? The sound comes from everywhere. Knocks, things that I've heard that are negative are, the fact that it doesn't have the best stereo imaging. Trade-offs. Some say that you can't have a room that's fully treated with omnidirectional speakers because speakers don't sound right. So there are no pros and cons, in my opinion, with omnidirectional speakers. It's just more about whether you like that type of sound or not. It's a complete departure from a regular box speaker.
Opinion about Kota amplifiers.
Kota amplifiers, I believe they're made in California, pure Class A amplifiers. That's a brand that a lot of people have been asking me to bring into the lab. A lot of people have been telling me about Kota. I know, and I've read a couple of articles about it, read some things on forums. People really like this brand. It's supposed to be really well built. Again, handmade in the USA. Maybe, you know what? Maybe that's a brand that I could see in the future in my lab, just to kind of show. Again, remember how I was telling you that second room could be for this, for these brands like Kota, Sound at some point, to put together combos occasionally that you guys can hear. That could be a brand actually that could work for that. So yeah, in the future, you might see Kota.
When will you be available for consultation after the move?
I would be available pretty much anytime, because as long as I set my schedule with you and make sure that we set a time, I'm okay. I'm available anytime.
What was your military MOS?
I was a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout. That's what I did. Basically, the eyes of the battalion. That's what that I went in for.
Okay, so this one says electronics are Storm Audio MK2 and a Hagel.
Hagel? Hagel, yeah.
C55
Yep.
and C54 for amps.
Yep.
And I use Hagel preamp 30.
Okay.
With a home theater bypass to play 2-channel music.
Okay.
I use Name ND555 with matching power supply for stream.
Okay. What speakers?
It doesn't say.
Doesn't say what speakers. Okay.
Looking for a transport for around 6,000. Would you go for a Rose RS 130?
I will tell you this: if you're looking for transports, there are many options out there, but I would strongly suggest, in my opinion, to look at something like Esoteric, the old Esoterics. I don't really know the models off the top of my head, but if you can find a good deal on an old Esoteric transport, I would tell you, you're not going to regret it, man. Esoteric has been doing this for a long time. Probably where I would put my money if I'm looking for some sort of player, although the Wattx player nowadays has a lot to say. I mean, the Wattx player is a fantastic player as well.
Okay, so this was a two-part question. The system I just read to you, the electronics are Strom Audio, remember that?
Yes.
With the Hagel?
Yep.
Okay, so he says, what do you think of this system, and what do you think of home theater bypass for 2-channel music?
Look, the system, I would have to be there to hear it because it's a combination of things that I'm not familiar with. But I want to answer you the question about what do I think about the home theater bypass approach. There's nothing wrong with it. I understand you're saving money by utilizing a home theater bypass approach. There's nothing wrong with it, but it never really rivals a true 2-channel system. Now, I'm not going to tell the wife that you're going to start selling components tomorrow and redo your system. I'm not urging you to do that, especially if you don't especially if you don't even have a dedicated room. Okay, you got to have a dedicated room, in my opinion, if you can do it. If you cannot, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with a pass-through home theater setup to listen to your two channel. Nothing wrong with it. If you can eventually separate your home theater from your two channel, the way I did it here, and the way I did it here is by having a lot of in walls around the room, right, and in the ceiling, and my two channel was completely separate from my home theater. To me, that's the best approach. If you can do that, I will tell you right now, if you can buy quality in walls, put in walls, if the wife allows you, in case you're in the living room, put in walls, and then eventually just put a separate left and right speaker for your two channel. Keep them completely separate. You'll be very happy.
The legacy audio velour speakers look like a good deal for around $100K built-in amps. Okay, another question. Jay, when you come to Texas and get settled in and have your new room completed, will you be doing any listening sessions? We haven't said where we're going.
No, we haven't said where we're going, but this is what I plan to do. Eventually, if all stars align, I want to have events, industry experts, audiophiles from across the country. I want to give back. I want to share. I've been doing this solo for a long time, right? I have more interactions with people. I want to share my system with more people, two of my systems with more people. And the cool thing about what I want to do is I'll be sharing a diversity of systems. I guarantee you, more than likely, anytime you come out to see me, when you return in 3 months, it'll be a different system. It'll be different speakers, different amps. And this is what will be cool about coming to Jay's Audio Lab 2.0. You're more than likely never going to see the same system again and again and again. You may see the same speakers because obviously that's a big investment and they're heavy, harder to move in and out. But the rest of the electronics, expect to see different things. So to answer your question, I do expect to have a bit more of an open door type of thing. Obviously, I gotta get to know the person and the people, right? But I plan to have events so that you guys can walk into the rooms, listen to the systems, hang outside, have a cigar, have a beer, and meet other audiophiles that you never knew existed. This is kind of what I want to have in my space. Share, give back.
My request would be this Lanshay audio speakers with that plasma air tweeter and Class D versus Class A amplifier shootout.
You know, that's a very good one. That's a very good idea. And I'm open to taking suggestions. I want to take your suggestions. Shootouts are something that I also want to do a lot of in the future. I want to have a great group of people, good audiophiles that can come out and we can, let's say, have in room A, a collection of, great components, room B, a system that's completely different. And we can actually do A and Bs real time and record it all on YouTube. For those that can't come out, they can actually watch everything from the sky, essentially, because I want to have cameras up there that can watch us, and hopefully have great microphones as well. I want to be able to have people's impressions and tell them, okay, what happened when we went from the MSB Cascade to the Lampensator DAC? Give us your impressions. And then people can actually speak on what they heard. Which one did you prefer and why? I want to have those opinions real time. I want to have 10, 15 audiophiles that can say, well, Jay, I think I prefer this because of that. The other person may come in and say, I disagree. I think I like this because of that. These are the cool conversations I want to have. I want you guys to be part of that. I want to have something fun, engaging. I want you to want to come out to see me.
Of all the speakers you've had in the lab, which ones would you make your end game speakers? My
end game speakers are a multitude of end game speakers. I've had so many great speakers. Wilson Audio Chronosonics, Magico Q7s. The Tads are fantastic. The Martins are fantastic. They all have something special about them. It's hard to compare them. It's hard to say a Lambo is better than a Ferrari or vice versa. There is also an element of subjectivity. You have to always remember it's an opinion. If I have to say a small speaker, I would say the TAD. The CR1TXs to me are an end game speaker, period. It's a fantastic speaker, but it's not for everyone. Not everyone is going to enjoy the TADs because they're very revealing, very neutral. Big speakers, I think the Martins do fantastic things. The Martins have a very clean, clear, poised type of presentation. It's got a lot of luxury behind it. When you hear the music that comes out of the Martins, you're stunned by the sheer clarity and transparency as well. So there are many speakers. That said, I do have a special speaker in my storage facility that I have never opened, and it's been there since Halloween of 2024. So that speaker might make a grand entrance in my future lab unless I sell it before I get there.
In the end, change is constant in life. Have you found, with the gear that you've ever had in the lab, your desert island system?
Desert island system, well, it could never be something massive because in an island, I gotta take that to a place that's remote. I would say, you know what, I wouldn't mind the TADs. Again, I go back to them. The form factor, easy to put in a box, take it with you, and perhaps the Solution 333 integrated. To me, that system has been plenty. I have heard a lot of systems everywhere. And by the way, I own the TADs. They're not on loan if you're thinking that they sent them to me and then I'm going to return them. They're mine. I bought the TADs. I've wanted that speaker for over 2.5 years. The 333 Solution didn't send it to me. I bought that with my own money. The Solution 331, excuse me, I bought that with my own money. So those two sound fantastic. Like I could easily go to an island with those two pieces, an Ethernet cable, speaker cables, and one power cord, and call it a day. I'd be happy.
The wall behind your chairs looks like a cartel drive-by.
Yeah, right? It does, man. It does. It really does. Look,
Let's show it
it
here.
looks like somebody was trying to write my name on here. Look, but yeah, I plan to start getting this all painted and you know, and really nice looking for the next people that will live here.
Jay, you need 2 rooms in your new location, a listening room with the bare minimum of gear and the second room for all the other gear. Massive bad colorations come from all those metal cases.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that. So we definitely, like I said, we're planning to do something real cool. I really hope that a lot of you can come out for when I do the grand opening. It's going to be a good time.
Hello, Jay. I would love to see the PROAC
Yes.
K series in your new room someday.
Okay, noted.
Kef Blade 2 Meta with the Kef C4 Meta Center 3160 and wall surrounds, Kef rounds, JLF112 V2 subs 2.
Okay.
That went the Hagel amps.
Okay, yeah. It's a good system.
Okay. Are you teaming up with Danny from GR Research?
People love, listen, you
Danny's
guys,
great people.
you all love to see me with Danny, man. Danny was a great host.
Such a nice person.
Such a nice person. My wife had a fun time, man. Don't get me wrong, we were in Wichita Falls. We drove for about 90 minutes straight without turning. It was a straight shot. I remember going 90 miles an hour for about an hour and a half straight. I mean, he's out there, man. I mean, the traffic lights over there is like 3 little light bulbs hanging and moving like this. I mean, this is like, he lives out there. But I mean, that's it. I mean, great wife, great guy.
Experience.
Ron is awesome people too, man. You know, Ron and I text occasionally. I actually need to reach out to Ron as well about his build. I have some questions. So I've been watching his videos, believe it or not, about his build because I'm taking bits and pieces of it, you know, from him too. So I want to make sure I don't make mistakes. I'm sure he's got some insights to give me and things that he could have done differently, right? So I'm using, you know, as many resources as I can. But to answer your question about Danny, man, no, I mean, I couldn't have gone that far out because I have a daughter. You know, my wife also has friends, you know, and I couldn't have been, you know, really that far out. But I could tell you this about Danny. I mean, I would love to partner with him in the future and make more videos.
I love what you're proposing to work tightly with some audiophile and consolidate feedbacks.
Yes. Yes, I think, you know what it is? You know what? I'm going to put it out there. I'm just sick of the same shit. I want to do something fun, interactive with the 2 rooms. I want to share with people. I want to share with audiophiles. Even if they don't like me, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because I cannot be everyone's cup of tea. I'm okay with it. But at least they can come, they can listen to the system and be grateful for being in front of these, these electronics. They can at least say, you know what, I didn't like what Jay had, but I appreciate it. I respect what he's done. I like what he had there, and cool, I met the man. To me, that's a win. That's a win. But I want to have a group of people to just mix with, to have drinks with there, to maybe even go to dinner from there and talk about what we heard, and then return back for a second round of listening sessions. These are things that we don't do. We all listen sitting at home. And I understand we got kids, we got a wife, we got to make other people happy, we got parents that might be sick. I get it. But man, I want to just entice people to want to come and hang out. If you buy from me, great. I appreciate the business. I understand that's not always going to be the case, but I hope that you remember me for the future, right? And so if we can give back and we can build fun listening sessions, for example, I was talking to TriPoint, right, who happens to be the founder, who happens to be that grounding technology. He builds grounding boxes. And I told him, maybe in the future, you can fly where I'm going to be moving to, and you can have a presentation in front of the local audiophiles. And you can actually ground the system in front of us, let us hear it, and then remove everything. For everyone to be like, whoa, I never thought that would be possible. This is the type of fun stuff that I want.
Yeah.
But I need to have the proper rooms. I need to have the right environment so that we can do justice to all of this. This is what I want to do. And so when you think about my version, 2.0 version, it involves you. I don't want to do it alone anymore.
How about material shootouts? I prefer paper cones. They sound more natural to me.
I agree with that.
Some people like high-tech ceramic and carbon cones.
That could very well be it. Maybe in one room we have a Martin with, the Accutone drivers, and next to it we have a Sonos Faber with paper drivers. So yeah.
It's an awesome idea to propose more affordable systems to all of us.
Yep.
So that's the last question for now.
Okay.
We currently have 128 people watching and 150.
How long have we gone now?
72 minutes.
Okay. Any other questions, guys, before I continue to do my madness here in the lab?
And I continue to pack the house.
Yes. We're willing to take a few more questions. But anyway, I'm actually in a lot of back pain, which is why I hired some movers, as I said to you, for tomorrow to move the Apex. But, I am ready to move. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to build something special, and obviously keeping you guys abreast of everything.
No more questions so far.
Okay, no more questions, guys. Well, that about wraps it up for me today. Thank you for your support. Stay tuned. Continue to like my videos, guys. I got a lot more cool stuff coming, especially in the month of September. Okay? I appreciate your support as always. And remember, I could not do this without any of you watching me, following me, hitting those likes, and also subscribing to this channel. Peace.
And if you want to follow through this crazy journey that we're about to embark, make sure you check out the shorts and all the other content that we're going to be uploading, right?
Yes, that's right.
All right.
Talk to you.